everybody, my name is Joey. I am going to unbox and do a couple of projects, well at least one project, I'll see how long the video is, with the Magical Mystery Bead Box for July 2025, and it's like the perfect theme for a summer box, the Shakespearean comedy A Midsummer Night's Dream. I'm a reader, but I'm not like really big on Shakespeare, but I do know a little bit about this play. It is set in an enchanted forest, and it is for it's not a love triangle, it's a love, what do you call four? Quadrangle? I don't know what you call it. But this box is just so amazing. I love the graphics on everything. Look at that. Can't you just get lost in that postcard? It looks like a painting or something. It's beautiful. So here's our list of ingredients. We have some bead mixes, bead strands. I'm going to go through it pretty quickly because I already know that I want to do an enchanted forest pendant that's like a really bold tassel with just flowers dripping from it like an enchanted forest. So we have a bead mix here called King Oberon. We have Queen Titania, and I'm going to dump those, but I'm just going to like try to get some of these things out of the way first. Like I said, I just love this strand and I really want to just have this hanging from a gorgeous pendant, like just dripping with the miscellaneous flowers and blooms and leaves that you might find in an enchanted forest. I mean, there's just so much on here. Going from really small crystals, all kinds of bead caps. I love stacking them. I mean, it just goes on forever. So I'll cut this open, and I think my first project in this video is going to be this pendant that I want to make with this. So I will cut that open, but I'm going to set it aside for now just to get some space. I also am planning a necklace with this Met My Moonlight. These are beautiful amethyst nuggets, and they are just gorgeous. They're very organic, no two are alike, and it's a gemstone, so they have a really nice weight to them. And I am just loving the idea of making a necklace with this, as well as the Making Mischief gemstone pendant. Isn't that gorgeous? This is so beautiful. It has a drill hole at the top. I absolutely love the purple and the blue and the turquoise. Like, that color combination is so beautiful and so denim friendly. And to me, this is I love the theme of this box for summer, but to me, as you get into these jewel tones, this is perfect for the upcoming seasons as well. So this is absolutely gorgeous. It has a really nice weight to it. It's very smooth, cool to the touch. And so I'm envisioning a necklace project out of these two. And if I can stretch this out, I was thinking how beautiful a bracelet would be with these amethyst nuggets as well. So we also got this beautiful chain. Look how gorgeous this is. This is called Lover's Quarrel, and I just love the oval. I love the gold. I love there's a little bit of a pattern in here. And so with the Jesse James beads, you can use them as is, and just put a pendant on it, or you can deconstruct them because there are so many beautiful elements for projects. Like if you wanted to make earrings, those would be the sweetest earrings to use that as a drop. And then there's so much to choose from in these bead mixes. I've already dumped them out and looked at them, so I kind of know what's in there and like what I'm thinking. And I think this is, I'll see how many are in here, but I saw these little butterflies in the Queen Titania mix, and they have a center drilled hole, like a little bit, not straight up and down the way you normally do. And I have like the coolest idea for making these hang to look like the butterfly is flying. So like, wouldn't that be the prettiest earring? See, I can't help myself. This box is so inspiring, and this month in particular, it's so sparkly. The girls in the office at Jesse James Beads were saying how like this is really one of their favorites, and it's because of all the sparkle. So I love this chain. That's really, really gorgeous. I am going to set things aside just to make a little space here for dumping the mixes. But we also got this beautiful chain reaction, and same thing, you have beautiful wire wrapped crystal components in here, but you also have links that if you want to deconstruct this and make any kind of an extender chain or earring drops. And I have even turned my chain reaction into chain tassels by gathering it all up and adding things into it. It makes a beautiful tassel. And if you didn't notice, this box is an even mix of gold and silver. So whether you are a gold lover or a silver lover, you're going to love this box. And it's kind of classic really to mix the metals, but for 2025, mixing gold and silver in jewelry designs has been really big, and I think we're going to still see it going into next year. So the Enchanted Forest mix here was these beautiful leaves and in gold and silver, and they both have like a different pattern. So these are so gorgeous. They're charms, but you can make earrings out of these. This is beautiful as your last drop on an extender chain. They're just wonderful, and I love them. They're two-sided, so for me, with anything really, I love it. That's just a great feature. And in that mix, look at these, you guys. These branch connectors are amazing. I love them. You can turn them literally any way you want. You can hang them this way. You can work with them this way. You can work with them this way. You can mirror them. The possibilities on these guys are absolutely endless. And you have a loop here, 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 here. Same thing on this side, but you also have this whole space in here if you wanted to add in other things. And honestly, this bead strand that I'm going to turn into a tassel, I know I won't use all of these, so I am thinking of like a necklace bar with just enchanted flower drops just dripping from it. I think that would be so gorgeous and so fun. And if everybody made that, no two would look alike, really. This is just amazing. These connectors are fantastic. I mean, like any way you turn it, it's cool. Okay, I have to stop playing with those, and then look at this, you guys. I love these. I have these in gold from a past Magical Mystery bead box, and I also bought them when they had it on their website. I did not check. I don't know if these are available again on the website, but we got these flower head pins in silver this time, and there are two different designs in here, and I have used the heck out of the ones that I had. Like for me, I see this can be as a sea urchin. This can be a tropical flower. So if you're doing summer jewelry with seashells or a tropical look, these are perfect. But then they transition beautifully as the Enchanted Forest. I mean, aren't they just stunning? And you can do you can make ear wires out of these. I mean, they make any bead that you pop on here, like even the butterfly, any bead that you pop on here, it just takes on a whole new dimension and a whole new story. I just love these. And the fact that they're in silver, and I'm already dipping into this mix. You guys have to forgive me, but I'm really excited and really inspired. But look at the gold and silver with that. It's so pretty and so dimensional. Okay, and then we got this "Love never did run smooth." That's probably the most famous line from this play, the Shakespearean play. And I think this was written in the 1500s. Like I said, I'm a reader, but not so much on Shakespeare, but I do know a tiny bit about it. But this little set of earring findings is amazing. So you have in these gorgeous connectors with the hole at the top and bottom. So this could be one pair of earrings, and then you have a post earring with another loop here behind it. So you really could connect these with any beads from these mixes in between, or make two separate pairs of earrings. And they even came with some silicone earring backs. So I don't know, I'm debating. I think I'm going to end up doing two pairs of earrings with mine, because there are so many beads in these mixes to add beads into this connector. But honestly, if you wanted to do a pair of earrings and use these connectors for a bracelet, that would be beautiful. And the other thing I thought when I looked at this, just to give you ideas, is what a gorgeous Y necklace this would make. Like a really delicate Y necklace. You need like a connector for the center. The Y part that goes around your neck would go up here, and then you have the connection for whatever your Y drop would be. And you guys, look at this. like I said, pardon me while I play, but wouldn't this be a gorgeous Y necklace? So delicate and literally like so fast, one and done. Like this is would just be connecting. So I might have to turn mine into a Y necklace. Okay, let's clear away a few things and I'm going to dump these bead mixes. Okay, let's do Queen Titania. I want to say Queen Titiana because that's my Italian language brain, but I already see something I love, love, love in here. This pink, look at this pink oversized crystal bicone. That is gorgeous. In this beautiful blush pink, I'm going to grab a piece of wire. Look at that. And this has a really nice size hole. So that gives you a lot of stringing possibilities. And then there are some marguerite style beads, but marguerites are drilled right in the middle. These are drilled up and down and they have the AB finish on them. So really this box just sparkles like crazy. We always get a nice amount of crystal rondelle spacers. I have already shown you the butterflies. Let's see how many we have in here because I would like these in my tassel, in my Enchanted Forest tassel, but I would also like to make some earrings out of these. Oh my gosh, you guys, there's 4, 5, 6. There is a lot of these. That is awesome. So you have enough of these cool butterflies with the AB finish to make earrings, to make charms, to add them into the bottom of the tassel. That makes me so happy. And then I see some mermaid glass. This is amazing. This is beautiful. It's a beautiful like frosted white mermaid glass. Do you see that flash? It really does look like a mermaid. I love it. It's kind of enchanted. It goes perfectly with this box. And then what else is in here? We have some little crystal prong set little disco balls. And what else? Oh, there's some clear bicones in here. And what else? Let me make sure I'm not missing. I am not missing this, but I was saving it for last. Aren't these amazing? These are so stunning. And I have to confess, I am going to make this the top of my Enchanted tassel. I had taken this from my stash because I wanted something really big, but I had forgotten that I saw these in the mix. So that's going to be, you're going to see these in my project. So I'm just going to take one out right now. So let me put this back in here. I'm probably going to pull from both mixes for my tassel. So let me put Queen Titania away and let's dump King Oberon into the dish so we can see. I love, love, love the cloisonne beads in here, and especially this teardrop one. Look how beautiful that is. And like this is a head pin that I made, a little spiral head pin. I mean, look at that. Your work is already done. You just take a pretty head pin and put that bead on it and it's beautiful. And I love the black ground for an Enchanted Forest and then the pink and green and little red center. I mean, that is just a gorgeous bead. I love that. And we have some pressed glass flowers in here, some bell flowers. I love those. I could never have enough flowers. And look at these crystals. This is beautiful. Faceted crystals with an AB finish. So you get a lot of color play in that. It's beautiful. And I love these teal crystals. They're a little bit oversized faceted rondelle and they are beautiful. I love that rich teal. There's quite a few of those. And I love this dark raspberry with that teal. Look how gorgeous that color combination is. And there's even a darker teal, even a richer, darker teal, a little bit smaller, faceted rondelle. And there is more cloisonne style beads here with, in a different shape. These are round. They're hollow, so sometimes it's a little challenging to get stringing material through a hollow bead. You have to kind of find that spot, but look at that. And if you want to stack them, oh my, that's just classic elegance. I just love it. I could just play with them. And then there are these little sparkly acrylic beads. They just are so blingy. I love it. I just love it. There's some little cushion, little pillow beads, and they have an AB finish and they are faceted all the way around. Nice profile to those. What else? There's plenty of spacer beads in here, gold and silver. The star, a couple of different shapes of stars. This one looks a little bit like a snowflake, but the gold and silver stacked together is just beautiful. And what else? Let me make sure I did not miss anything. I got those. Okay, I think there's my other little flower. Okay, I think I found everything in here. So let me just clean up a little bit, organize myself, and let's do a project. Okay, I am going to cut open one of the two strands of the flowers and just put this all out here so that I can create kind of my own stacks for my tassel, for my Enchanted Forest tassel. Look at that deliciousness. The Magic Mystery Bead Box is so good. Look at that. It's just, I love that flower. And these are beautiful. It's a mix of glass, metal, acrylic, and crystal, and gold and silver. And it's just amazing. I just love it. I'm going to have so much fun doing this. Plus, look at all that I have to pull from, and I left these out here because I might want them. And as I said, this is going to be the top of my cap, and I have some 8/0 metallic gold and silver seed beads out here and a piece of 20 gauge wire. And I also have a wingspan of this, I think this is 10-pound wildfire. It's in this pretty blue color. I can link this in the description box. I recently found it. And so I just have a number 10 needle threaded with that thread for my tassel. But I'm going to start my tassel by taking this piece of 20 gauge wire. It's got an anti-tarnish coating. And I'm just going to put a simple loop in here. It doesn't have to be fancy. It's never going to be seen again. It's just going to hold. I want it to be able to hide inside this bead cap. So I'm just gonna, I want it to be big enough to hold a few threads. I said simple loop, but I didn't mean simple loop. I meant wrapped loop, and really I just want a closed loop. And I have done this with a simple loop too, but I really just want a closed loop that will fit inside that bead cap. Okay, that looks great. So I'm going to just set that aside, and I'll be building on this, and I'm going to start by running my thread through this loop, and I'm going to tie it a few times. You could use a little knotter's glue, a little beater's glue, like Beadalon makes a good one. GS Hypo Cement works really well, but I'll see. Like I kind of do this with my heart. I do like to glue things, but when I'm going to make a tassel, it's going to be looped back up and down my tassel strands so many times that I think it will be okay. I'm just going to start out doing like some overhand knots and go right over left, left over right, and just do a few of them. I'm going to leave that little tail there because when I'm all finished with my last strand on my tassel, when I come back up to this loop, you'll see, but I'm going to use this to tie to my last strand. So, you know, in that case, probably not even necessary to glue. And now I'm just going to start building my tassel. And so to start off with, I'm going to do some gold seed beads. Just kind of this first row will determine my length. So I'm going to count. And I'm going to bring my bead cap back in just to see the length of my tassel, because I'm going to be adding flowers in at random, and I'm thinking I did 7 seed beads that are gold and then 3 silver, and if I do that on every strand, when the tassel is done, I'll have like a nice silver, kind of a silver stripe at the top of the tassel. So I like that idea. And I'd have 15 here on the bottom, and so I think I want it to be a little bit longer than that. Okay, so I think this is going to be a really busy tassel and pretty random, so I'm going to do, after the 3 silver, 15 gold, and then there's going to be a bead strung on, whether it be like one of these little bicones or one of these faceted rondelles. and then another 7 beads. And then at the end of each strand, I'm going to create a little flower stack or a little something. And I think first off is going to be one of these butterflies because I love it. And I'm just going to pull from the 2 mixes and create strands this way. So let's see what I want to put on the top of the butterfly. Maybe one of these little spacers. Let's see, nope, that's too big for him. Let me just find a little something to go on top of him. Okay, there is always so much left over from my magical mystery bead boxes. It feels like these little pots never get empty. So I have things left over just because I wanted some smaller things. So I'm going to put some of my odds and ends from past magical mystery bead boxes out here, some little crystals, and I don't even remember which boxes these were from, but look at this. This is perfect to mix in with my tassel strands. So I'm just going to dump some of these out here so that I can pull from them to create my strands. Look at that. Okay, and now I just have to find something for the center of my flower, and it can be a seed bead. And so to do my tassel, I'm going to feed this seed bead. That's my stopper bead. I'm going to feed this down. Let me get in the view of the camera. I'm going to feed that seed bead down to my strand, and I'm going to skip over that seed bead and run my needle back up through the bellflower and everything. The bellflower, the crystal rondelle spacer, the butterfly, my crystal, and just make sure when you do this that you do not skip a bead, that your needle doesn't slip outside. So maybe just do a little at a time, but the goal is to feed your thread back up through and get to the top of your strand where you can begin again. And your first strand, your first few strands, you know, your thread is long and you don't have any substance. So the first ones, you know, you feel a little, everything wobbly and a little disorganized, but after you just do a couple of strands, your tassel starts to unfold, and this is going to be like a tassel like none other because it's going to be, all the strands are going to be enchanted flowers just, and, you know, beads just dripping. So I have one more to go through. So like I said, make sure you don't skip a single bead, and I'm going to pull tight. You can come back and get a hold of your stop bead and pull, 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 pull. Okay, so I'm back up at the top, and my first strand on my tassel is done. And now at the top, I'm going to go back through my closed loop and just do a knot or two. I'm going to do that for every single strand. Just loop my needle back through and pull. And I'm ready to start my next strand. Okay, so same thing again. I started with 7 gold seed beads and then 3 silver. And then my 15 gold seed beads. Move everything back. Okay, so that's my next drop, and I am going to do the same thing again, skip over my last silver bead and go back through everything else and work my way back up to my loop, going slowly, making sure that I don't skip a bead. Just feed my needle back all the way up. Just make sure you don't skip a bead, because then your thread will be on the outside of a strand on your tassel. And like I said, when you use up some of your thread and you know, get a few strands, it gets a little bit easier. So that's my little stop bead is going to sit inside that crystal rondelle spacer, and I'm going to work my way up all my seed beads back to my closed loop, tie another couple of knots, and start my next strand. And I'm going to build my whole tassel this way, choosing what flower drop I want, and this tassel is gonna be like an enchanted forest in itself. I'm so excited about it. And I think that as I've already just done 2 strands, I think that I'm going to not worry about my length on each strand being identical. I'm going to let it be a little bit random, and I think when it's hanging that way, you'll see all the different flowers and foliage, and it really will look enchanted. Okay, so I'm going to come through my loop again. Even at this point, I can tie to my tail thread that I left and, you know, clean that up underneath like that. That will be nice and secure to just do a couple of overhand knots on that tail thread. So on this strand, I'm going to, instead of 1 stop bead, I'm going to use these 3 little small crystals, and they're going to kind of make a little loop. I'm going to, you know, leave those out and leave all 3 of them as my stop bead, and go back through my bellflower and my bead caps and everything, and do the same thing, work my way up to the top. I'll show you when I pull tight how pretty it is. Okay, so I pulled tight, and this drop has a cloisonne bead, and it has 3 little crystals like a crystal picot coming out of the flower. I just love that because, you know, in an enchanted forest, there's all kinds of little buds and little, you know, what are they, like stamens and curly things and all kinds of wild things growing. So look at this. I've got only 4 strands done, and look how cool it is. So I'm going to keep going. I love a project like this because I can really design as I go and just have fun. I think I'm going to make these leaves one of my drops, and so I'm going to keep going. I'll clean up this mess, and when I come back, I'll kind of show you what I've decided on each of the individual strands. Okay, I have quite a few done, and so when you're doing this, you can keep checking in with your bead cap to, you know, kind of see like if you're filling up the opening of your cap. And I like the way it's looking, but I decided to do even some more texture in here with a shorter strand. So let me get myself untangled, and I'll show you what I decided to do. I fed on my my gold, and then 3 silver, and then a leaf, and then 3 silver, and then I'm going to run my thread back up to the top and loop it off so that I'll have a leaf hanging shorter than my other strands. And there's 2 more leaves on the other strand, so I think I'm going to cut this open and play with adding in some shorter lengths as well. So I just wanted to show you that when you're building a tassel, that's kind of, you know, like I said, I love these kind of projects where my design brain is on and I can just keep designing as I go. So it's really the same thing. Instead of a stop bead, that whole section is a stop bead. So I'm just going to come here and run my needle back through those seed beads to my loop, tie off, and then start another strand. So just pull, pull, pull like that, and that just makes a pretty little loop around the bead. Pretty little, like a silver loop. And so you see it like hangs at a little different height, and I really like the way it's looking. So I'm going to keep building and see if I need to add in thread. I'm still doing well. I might not even have to on this project, but I'm going to keep going. I'm also going to adjust this by just curling these under, just because this is a tassel and these are a little bit pointy and this bead cap was a little bit large. So this is a really malleable one, so I'm just going to modify this a little bit, just curl that under, and now I have really beautiful filigree bead cap that's a little bit smaller. And so if I want to layer it, like maybe with the silver and the purple or something like that. So I'm doing that, and I'm also have cut open the other strand here. Oh my, this is so gorgeous. Look at this pendant, you guys. I just love it. It's not finished, but I did want to show you that I'm gonna top off my tassel pendant with a stack of flowers kind of going in both directions. So I just played with everything that was left over after all my strands, and that's kind of what I came up with, resting on top of this cap. But I do have to take everything off because I wanted to show you how I'm planning to tie this off. And also, you know, I just kept putting my bead cap on here to make sure that I had really filled up the space in there, that I had just the right amount of strands. I mean, you could probably squeeze one or two more in there, but it's really just about perfect. And then these just look so good. I just love, like I did all different stopper beads on the ends of the strands. Each one is a little bit different. That's a picot with gold seed beads and a crystal. I did that. I really like the way that looks, so I did that. My flowers are going in both directions. Some of the cloisonne beads are peeking in there, and I created those crystal loops to hold my leaves. And I really liked adding different, not having everything all the same length. It is just a beautiful, it's like the prettiest tassel I've ever seen. And I wear long necklaces, so this will always be down low on what I would, you know, how I would wear it. And I hope you guys will hang out with me while we finish this, because I have some styling options. Like, I've been sitting here playing with some different ways, different things to do with this pendant, different than what I've even done. So I hope you'll hang out with me so I can share some of that with you. But I am going to, my tail is still here, and that first little thread that I looped around my closed loop, and I have tied, as I went back up to my strands, I have tied onto it a couple of times, and then, you know, tied around. Like, you can see that I've tied knots around my loop every time I got to the top of the closed loop. And as I said, you can totally, I might have said this, you can totally use a little bit of GS Hypo Cement on a knot, and I might do that. I mean, I do tend to glue things, but I really don't foresee this coming undone. I don't think it's really necessary on this. I'm going to go back and I'm tying the working thread that I was stringing on with that original tail, and I'm going to turn it around so that I'm going in, you know, left over right, right over left. It makes the knot a little bit stronger. Get my thread zap. This will also kind of melt, you know, kind of melt the thread. So I really don't foresee this, I don't foresee this tassel coming apart. I have a little dog and a little cat, so I am really careful with needle and thread. This is a magnetic base. I also have a video where I showed you guys how to decorate the top of little glass storage jars, and the tall ones work really well for needles, but I keep mine really sealed. I'll show you these tall jars that I use. You can decorate the tops of them. And Jesse James Beads has the most beautiful tassels, and you get a lot of these floofies in their bead mixes, and they just make beautiful tops to jars. And these long jars, you can put your needle and threads fit in here really, really well. Or, you know, like a magnetic base. But if you have pets, it's really a good idea to keep something like this for needles and threads to keep your pets safe. Okay, let's pop this onto the top here and just get it situated in there. Push it down, make sure that all my little strands are in there. I love this so much. I even love the sound that it makes. And then I'm gonna just again alternate. I'm alternating gold and silver through the whole thing. So I did that one facing down, this one facing up, this gold one facing up, and I just played with everything that was left over. And you guys, the Magical Mystery Bead Box is always so jam-packed. I have so much left over from this box. You wouldn't believe. I feel like, let me just show you. I feel like I've done all of this and both of my bead mixes are still full. My strand that I cut for the flowers, I still have like almost a full strand of that. I didn't use the leaves. I was thinking I might, but I just had so much to work with. They did not get in there. Still have my whole strand of amethyst nuggets. So I will be making more with this box. But we are going to do a bail on the top of this, and I'm going to do it fairly large. So I'm going to get a hold of my wire and can put, I'm pushing down toward my stack because I do want this to stay the way that I'm going to do it. I want it nice and tight. And I'm going to make that 90-degree bend. And then I'm going to get my bail making plier because I'm going to need something bigger. So let me just show you. On your round nose pliers, down here is going to be the biggest loop that you would be able to get. And that is really not big enough to go over every lobster claw clasp. And since this is a pendant that's going to be able to be worn interchangeably, like on leather cord or and I'll show you, I have some other really good ideas, but I know what empty chains and cords I have in my jewelry box, and this second to the largest step works really well for my bail size. So I'm going to fit this in here. There is definitely a little bit going on. I'm going to fit this in here, and this is a normal wrapped loop, but I'm going to be wrapping over this second largest bail. And I have given myself extra wire so that I can wrap around twice. And I'm going to do that on this one, get everything nice and straight. But there's a little bit of weight to this. I mean, I did have some acrylic flowers in here, and the bulk of the tassel is seed beads, but there is a little bit of weight to this. So I am going to rotate my pliers, just, wiggle things around and get a second loop in there. Just maneuver it so that it's nice and neat. And see, it's a double loop, but it's still centered. Now, I am thinking to use my nylon jaw plier to hold my double loop and just get some wraps in here. I'm going to get my pliers, pull this really tight. And I am kind of messing up those loops a little bit, but I can fix them when I get my wraps in. Okay, I'm going to come in here and just tidy up my loops, line them back up again. Now I have this little bit of wire here, so I can make this really chunky by wrapping back up toward the loop, or I can kind of wrap around my bead. So I just have to look at it for 1 second and decide. It's so pretty. It's such a nice looking loop. I think I'm just going to get a hold of this, my 2 loops like that, and I'm just going to wrap back up on top of what I've already wrapped. Just make it a little chunkier. is so pretty, and I'm gonna get in here and just split my bail a little bit. That is I did really a video beautiful. This month where I did really simple seed bead and accent metal, just pop over your head strands of necklaces, and I created 7 of those necklaces, and these were just some of the colors that I did. And I was looking at this, and even this one that was my accent strand for this group, like these were made to be layered, twisted into a torsade, or just done as a single. But even this one does have that enchanted forest look. It's made out of check glass bicone beads, really tiny bicone beads, and seed beads. And so I have this carabiner that's pave, and there's also a smaller one with a spring ring that I have. And so this could go like, this could be on here like this, and put my bail, you know, put my carabiner and close that down, and I could wear this on this chain. But the other thing you can do is to leave the tassel pendant on, and like I have this pink one that's so beautiful with this. I also have the purple and yellow, like all the colors are in here. There's purple, there's yellow, there's this cranberry color, there's green, there's gold and silver. So any of these that I made will work perfectly. But you can also do this like on a shorter necklace by looping these longer ones both through. So like doing both loops on here like this. And then this can, you know, be the front, can be, do it short like that. And I also have purple leather that I could wear this on, but I also have a few of these chains from Purity Beads that I just have a clasp on, and as long as my lobster claw clasp will go through my bail, which is why I made it so large. And if this one doesn't work, this just happens to be the one that's here on my work table, but if this one doesn't work, I have 3 or 4 of these chains with different size clasps on them because I love to make pendants. So let's see if this one will work. Nope, this one won't work. But I do, this is a little bit larger clasp. I do have chains with smaller, but just so you can see what this would look like through a gold chain, like this can be worn on leather, on a gold chain, on a beautiful seed bead chain, or you know, seed bead necklace. There's so much to do with a pendant necklace. Just clean up a little bit here. There's just so much to do with a pendant necklace that has this many colors in it and this many shapes in it. I absolutely just love this, the way that this turned out. So if you guys like this project and you want supplies, you can click more underneath this video. And also I have a discount code for Jesse James Beads, and it does work if you want to sign up for the Magical Mystery Bead Box, but it also works if you just want to shop the website. And they have a beautiful website. They have a area of the website called New. They have an area of Fab Finds, which you never know what's going to show up there. Jesse James Beads, you know, kind of unearths things from their warehouse sometimes. So there are some limited edition items and collections on their website. It's a really, really fun website for jewelry makers. And as I said, my discount code works for the Magical Mystery Bead Box, but you can also use it for the website. So also my tools and supplies are always listed there. My favorite findings are always there. And I thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody is having a good summer and being safe and drinking lots of water. And I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao, friends. Here's your little house. Oh, you're letting me get close. Hi, baby. You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. Okay, I'm going to leave you alone.